So this 9-page report came out of the Pentagon that says there are these things in the sky, not necessarily flying, not necessarily objects, but unidentified aerial phenomenon. That could be anything, but are definitely something. But what if the conjecture were even more startling, where, in 1947, the decompression of an alien spacecraft accidentally released a neurotoxin that has gradually been turning us mad. The Pentagon report manages to both be a bread sandwich of shruggery and a shocking admission of ignorance, whilst also kind of being an ode to the bureaucratic path of least resistance. Are there aliens having their jollies in the troposphere or not? I want to know. Instead, we get this half grunt and a government document that made me excited, frustrated, and a little bit hungry. All of this, revelation or not, is of course mired by the usual quadratic spectrum of conjecture and bullshit. From fanatic enthusiasm to stonewall denialism. From government propaganda to Bob Lazar.
I am telling the truth. I've tried to prove that. What's going on up there could be the most important event in history.
UFOs and aliens are one of the most punishing subjects to read about or watch videos about. It's like the time that I talked to an archaeologist for 2 hours and had a really interesting conversation with them, but then they started to talk about ley lines. Can people not just come out with their bullshit beliefs right at the start? Because if he'd have done that, I could have saved some space on my SSD. I'd have still talked to him at a lower bitrate, but I'd have turned my brain from conversational to observational study. Or off. And that's like reading about or watching stuff about aliens or UFOs, because they all start talking about things like fighter pilots witnessing strange craft, and their reports are corroborated, and it all seems so well documented. Tangible things where a police officer taking a whiz saw some bright lights, and somebody who never knew the police officer across the lake, also taking a whiz, coincidence, also saw some bright lights. And it's really convincing and compelling, and you think, well, what was it? Even if it's really benign, even if the explanation is terrestrial, that's strange enough for me to want to know. What was it? There should be an investigation into that. Was it a baby weather balloon? You don't see many of those. We don't know what they look like. I want to know. It always starts like that. And then quickly it becomes, Occam's razor tells us that the most rational explanation is that aliens have wormhole technology, and they've been in cahoots with the American government for 70 years. And also, Trump, Obama, and someone, depends who you read, was an alien. Someone's an alien. Aliens. All of the compelling evidence of something weird, aliens or not, is often conflated with explainable wish-it-was stuff, the testimony of charlatans, and completely baseless conjecture.
Has the military actually come into contact with and documented 57 different species of aliens?
Then maybe it opened up a wormhole, and what the couple saw wasn't actually the lot as it appeared in the moment, but as it will eventually appear at some time in the future.
But this is purely sci-fi technology with no basis in reality, right? Well, think again.
Maybe if I was paranoid, I'd say it's a government smokescreen. Or maybe, in the Dutch angle corridors of power, no one has the entire picture. But then I hit stage 3 of going through the rabbit hole, starting by reading a trash 3-paragraph article about an entire branch of government shrugging, and ending by reading a 15-year-old thread about Atlantis on the Wayback Machine. What if there are aliens? What if they have teleportation technology? What if they're watching all the time? Imagine the implications. Can't you see the applications? An enormous treasure trove of high-quality data on the lives of every human worldwide, presenting to the highest bidder the ultimate in marketing opportunities. Or maybe they're making a David Attenborough-style documentary about the nasty-ass apes that don't care, and they're society. They just do what they want. Land, toilet, sea, toilet, space, toilet. Look at their shit cities. Look at their crap ideologies. Look at what they do when we wave our hands in front of their disgusting, stupid faces. That's David Attenborough, right? Look at this tiger. Lazy. Look at this dolphin. Dickhead. What if they're aggressive? Horny? Religious? But then, I hit stage 4 of information acquisition fantasy boredom. Boredom. All I know is maybe, but definitely maybe it seems if UFOs are hanging out in front of military cameras and all of that, they don't seem very interested in coming down and having a chat. As a kid, I always envisioned First Contact as a big spaceship landing on the lawn of the house where all the world leaders room during UN season. An alien in the shape of a completely hairless Alain de Botton coming out with a trail of redecorator robots, announcing that it comes in peace and that there are going to be a few changes around here. Not this pussyfooting around like these aliens are characters from a Jane Austen novel hiding behind a fan. Aliens, are you dancing or not? Because if we're not, that's okay, but please tell me now, and not at the end of the night, because if we're not dancing, I would like to go with Atlantis. And I want to choose plan B rather than, get shut out of things. Someone else goes dances with Atlantis. I end up dancing with the ley lines guy. And yes, he can dance, but there's something off. That's the biggest challenge, really, is what do they want? I mean, they're here, but what do they want? Say hello or fuck off, right? What can you do for us? Do you have any VRAM? Would you like to buy any of our galaxy-known wood? Do you accept Bitcoin?